Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another
Ow, my backer.
cat episode. There's socks all curled up.
Staying warm.
There's my beautiful wife. There's Lucky and his cousin John. Sorry, my back's hurting, people.
I need to figure out a way to put the coffee pot right here.
Oh, and there's, I don't know if you can see her. There's, no, I guess you can't see her.
Oh, she's yawning. Hi, Maggie.
There she is. There's Maggie in the closet.
There she is.
She's decided that's where she likes to go.
I don't know, I guess because it's warm and
Up high.
confined and
Yeah.
she can see us coming. Right, Maggie?
So, for those who don't know chronic pain, I mean, my back, it's not like it's hurting real bad, but
It's irritating.
yeah, it's chronic. I mean,
Maggie.
it'll hurt this way for a while, and then thankfully it'll get better. But I wanted to share a video, but I wanted to make a comment on something, and it's not this person that I'm making a comment. This particular comment is hopefully this is working out okay, because I look, see, it freezes up on me, so I don't know. I watched a video by somebody, I don't remember who it was. Mind you, folks, it's 26 degrees and we had about 1.5 feet of snow. This one person made this video saying bugging out is just going to get you killed. I'm like,
No.
yeah, right. Like my wife just said, no. I'd rather take. Look, if they're picking.
Age out of here, then.
Yeah, and if they're coming by and picking people up and putting them into trucks and putting them into buses and taking them to camps or whatever you want to call them, I don't want to be here when they do it. I want to be out in the woods, and we have plenty of woods around here. And the person was saying, well, it was mentioning the American population, and according to this, the U.S. population is 317,247,281. Yet, the number of preppers in the United States, let me close this window out because I have multiple windows open. The number of preppers in the United States is 3 million and counting, but it's still 3 million. 3 million versus 317 million population. Now, we know people, and as a couple and as individuals, that they may not be what you would call a prepper, but I went to a lot of elementary schools, but I mean, like,
you moved around a lot.
yeah, I can, like, maybe 10 or more.
You were like a frog.
Yeah.
Jumping around.
But the one elementary school I went to the longest and that I liked the most, Mrs. Hunt was the principal. And then she remarried and remarried again, and I don't know what her last name is now. Franklin, Mrs. Franklin, I don't know. But see, she's a country girl. You know, the little town we lived in at the time, it was country at the time. There were suburbs, but they weren't very big, and they were yeah, and they were a distance apart from each other. You know, you have to cross a farm to get to the suburb. From one suburb to get to the next, you have to cross through a farm or through empty fields, or, you know.
They were spread out.
Yeah. But she was a country girl, so, you know, she's prepared, I guess you would say. She has, and this is the interesting. A lot of people say, well, it's those of us that are more conservative or more libertarian or more anarcho-capitalist that are the preppers. Well, and that love guns. But Mrs. Hunt is a flaming liberal, okay, and she has guns, and she's prepared. if something happens, no, I don't know if she's even alive anymore. As of the time that I went through the fire, she was alive and doing well, and she was in her 70s at that point. And one of her sons had served in the United States Army Special Forces. Another son had served as a prison guard. So her sons are tough. If something were to happen, her sons would be there. But so what I'm trying to get at is this: there may only be approximately 3 million formal preppers, but there is that group of people that would definitely not fit the stereotype of a prepper. But one could still consider them a type of prepper. And you know, like, and so this person who made this one video was saying, you know, with you know, the entire American population bugging out. I'm like, the entire American population isn't going to bug out. And even people that have the capability of bugging out aren't going to do so. They may think it's best just to stay put. And depending on the situation, it may be. You have to take the situation as it is. You know, if you know anything about history in Nazi Germany, the way they started was not in the cities. It was actually in some rural areas. But you see Socks back there stretching and getting into a new position. She's a stereotypical female cat, and her brother is a stereotypical tomcat. Anyway.
He hasn't quite learned how to control himself yet.
Yeah. He's going to have snip pretty soon.
Well, his body, I think, is a little...
Yeah. His body's growing into...
He's kind of an adolescent teenager.
Yeah, his head still looks kittenish, but his body is still somewhere in between. Anyway, so, you know, and yeah, you know, it also depends on where you live. Like Houston, oh my God, Houston, Dallas, Fort Worth, Galveston, San Antonio, Boston, Chicago. You know, you have city folk. I tell you, I would not want to be in the city when things hit the fan. It's the last place I want to be in. I don't know if I can find the book right now. It's something that we just got. It's actually, this edition of the book was just published. So we got the.
Are you looking for that one?
White Girl Beetle Lot.
It was over here, maybe in front of the chair. I think it was down there.
Well, okay, folks. Maybe I set all this stuff on top of it. No.
Look for it.
Okay, I don't know where it is, people, but
Here. Somewhere.
Yeah. Well, when my wife finds it, if she finds it,
I just saw it over here.
She can find things better than I can.
Here.
I'll show you the book, but you know.
Pick the thing up. I think it's under there. No. Damn.
Here it is.
There it is. You're hiding it, see? Hiding it from yourself.
This book, I recommend it. A lot of people already know that this kind of stuff goes on, but there are riots, race riots, and not anti-black race riots. They're anti-white, anti-Hispanic, anti-Asian, mostly anti-white and anti-Asian. And but of course the media doesn't talk about it, so a lot of people don't know about it. Of course, I've experienced racism, you know, either because I'm from Spain or because I'm Irish, of Irish stock, that is, or because I'm white. And you know, I was waiting at the bus stop in San Antonio. I was going to college. I was going to St. Philip's. And these guys are walking down the street, walking down the sidewalk, and saying, "No white boys need to be in this neighborhood." You know, I tell you what, you try to mess with me or something like that, I ain't gonna put up with it. You know, I am armed, by the way. But anyway, so there are going to be people, you know, if it hits the fan, there are going to be people that are not preppers, that don't know what to do, that have no earthly idea how to handle themselves. They're going to take off into the woods. Those are some of the people you need to worry about, because they've never hunted. They don't know. I've never hunted, but I've known lots of people that have.
The closest thing to them for hunting to them is going to the grocery store.
Yeah, and, you know, and let's say they have a gun and they get out in the woods, and they're going to see some leaves move, and they're going to think there's something back there, and there may be, but it may be a person, and they're going to shoot it, and they're going to go, oh no, I shouldn't have done that. Too late now. Or they're going to see leaves move, and it's just going to be the wind, and they're going to waste ammunition, and they're going to give themselves away. They're going to give their location away. And they're going to give away the fact that they're even there. That's why I think having a 22 is an excellent idea, even though we don't have a 22, because it doesn't make as much noise, and the sound's not going to carry as far.
Well, John's bowl of snow melted.
Last night we brought a bowl of snow in for the cats, and Lucky, but none of them.
John loves to play in the snow.
Oh yeah, he gets out there, he slaps at it and scratches in it. Anyway.
I don't think he knows what to do with it.
Yeah, we're going to try and get him a harness next month and see if, because he wants to go out and play in it. But anyway, so on to some more issues. Sorry folks, I'm not like 100% awake.
I keep telling you to drink coffee.
I'm going to share this one video because it's an excellent video. And also, I don't have glasses right now, so...
Yeah, we're going to fix that too.
Yeah, Ron Stryker, I believe, is the person, is the name of the channel. And the video, I believe, is What is a Bob and Why You Should Have One. And I don't know why. I've seen the video before, but I didn't like it before. I don't know why, but I liked it earlier when I watched it, because it's an excellent video. I highly recommend it. He makes some very good points. Now, I want to say, I used to backpack. I used to have a lot of good equipment, but as I was mentioning earlier, I had a fire. I went through a fire and I lost everything. So, so what my wife and I do, because we're a long way from well off, it's
we buy our stuff used.
Yeah, I mean, it's
good used.
My wife and I, our dog, and 3 cats, and we live off about $12,000 a year. Actually, right now, I think it's less than that.
Yeah.
But like my wife just said, we do buy, when we buy it used, but we buy it good. Because if you, like the person like Ron Stryker in the video, you buy a piece of junk, it's not going to last you.
Well, I think like the Red Shed, I think they go to a lot of auctions to get stuff.
And there's a place over here near us called the Red Shed. I wouldn't call it a junk store.
It's a used goods.
Yeah. Now, when it was at its former location under its former owners, it was more of a junk store. I definitely wouldn't call it a junk store anymore.
Now its former location is kind of like an antique store. Antique used goods, I would say. I want to get a bow, and sometimes they have them, but you go there, it's what they have when they have it. They had a treble sewing machine for $100. I wanted that, but I'm sure they've sold that by now. Well, maybe not. You never know how something like that's going to sell.
So what I was going to get at was saying the equipment I used to have stuff sacks. I had a lot of them, because you never know, you're going to put this stuff into a stuff sack, that stuff into a stuff sack, and they're different sizes and shapes. But we don't have any stuff sacks right now. Stuff sacks, stuff bags. But I like the idea from Ron Stryker
the rice and jerky. I had thought of the rice before, but I never thought of the rice and jerky. That's actually a fantastic idea. When you're because rice, you know, once you don't need a whole lot of the dry rice for it to go a long way.
Yeah.
And just before it's finished cooking, take some chopped up beef jerky,
throw it
in it, and it'll kind of rehydrate the jerky, and it tastes good, you know.
Yeah.
Not the most nutritious.
The only trouble I have with things like the Slim Jim sticks is they give me heartburn.
Yeah.
They do. It's like, I don't know why, but they do.
You know, the medicine, having something for the tummy, definitely, because for those who don't know, I've lived all over the world, and let me tell you a little story about Okinawa. I lived there for 5 years. My father took me to Ishima, which is a little island where Ernie Pyle was killed. Ernie Pyle wanted to go in on the first wave on the island, but General gosh, he's one of my heroes, and I can't think of his name. And his daddy had been a Confederate general, General Buckner. Excuse me, General Buckner. The officers' club that we went to was named for him. It was Fort Buckner's Open Officers' Mess. General Buckner told Ernie Pyle, "No, you're too valuable to me. You're not going in on the first wave." And then Mr. Pyle found out about the landings on Ishima, and General Buckner said, "Yeah, sure, you can go over there." And then he gets killed. So anyway. But my daddy took me over to Ishima, and there was a water well. The stereotypical old-timey water well where you drop a bucket down there, and then you pull the bucket back up. And I used to watch the TV show Lassie, so I'm like, "Oh, Daddy, can we go do that?" Because I thought it was really cool. And my dad said, "No, son." And he explained it to me, however you explain it to a kid that age, that the water
is a necessity.
Well, that water's dirty. Well, dirty. The people who drink it, who regularly drink it, it's okay for them to drink because their bodies are used to whatever's in that water. But if we drink it, we might get sick because our bodies are not accustomed to whatever is in there. So we didn't get to drink it. But once my dad explained it to me, I was okay with it. Yet my mother would say, "Yeah." And I was like...
Well, she was a nurse, too. That's like... She may have been a little more...
Well, I mean, anything.
Bugs thing,
Well, I mean, with anything, my dad was nice about it. He explained it to me.
She kind of snapped it.
Yeah, she was,
Snippy.
Yeah. But, actually, I think both our mothers were very much alike.
I think my mother could have been a drill sergeant.
But, so...
Probably would have ran them guys to death.
And then where I'm from in España, in Spain, yes, you could drink tap water, but you boiled it.
No.
No
That's
ifs.
fine, huh?
Yeah, no ifs, ands, or buts. You boiled it. You didn't. You didn't take this and drop it into the water. That wouldn't. Sorry, but it was so.
Wouldn't help.
No, yeah, it was so messed up. It wasn't going to do you any good.
Bad.
Yeah. Yeah, you boiled it, or you bought bottled water, or if you could find a place you thought the river water was probably better than lake water, that you thought it was clean enough. It probably wasn't. Not then.
You like go to the military base and buy water.
Yeah, but the thing with us is we live so far away. It was
but
out of our way.
if it wasn't too far away.
Yeah, but so yeah, and I understand. You definitely need something in case you get sick, because you don't want to get diarrhea and throw up and then get dehydrated.
Yeah, that's a mess.
And the thing is, if the blank hits the fan, there's the water treatment facilities are going to shut down. Even if they don't shut down, that doesn't mean they're going to be up to par. So you may still have a water treatment facility that's up and running, but they may not be doing what they used to do. You'll be lucky if they're even up and running. And you know, a lot of that's going to go into the rivers and into the lakes. The thing about lakes is that they can become stagnant, and you don't want to drink stagnant water.
That wouldn't taste good.
No. And thankfully up here we have water.
It's going to flow up here whether they like it or not.
Yeah, I mean, we have creeks and streams and lakes and rivers of every shape and size.
We have mountains, so it's kind of downhill all the way.
Yeah. And you know, and in the wintertime, like right now, well, you'd still want to be careful. Just because it's white snow doesn't mean animals haven't peed in it. Not all pee is yellow, folks. I mean, when you go to the toilet, is it always yellow? No. So you're still going to want to boil it, but before you even do that, you're going to want to go to an area that is less likely to have had animals go there. And if you notice tracks, just leave it alone. Just go away from the tracks. Like around here, domestic animals around here and wildlife. Domestic and wildlife here. We have bear, we have moose, although we haven't seen them. We have deer. We have those meerkats.
Yeah, those monsters. You don't want to get around them.
Yeah, we have porcupine. We have skunks, possums, coons, squirrels, chipmunks. You know, a chipmunk, you're never going to notice the pee of a chipmunk, but it's still going to be there.
Or going to be just a few drops.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, you know, and a chipmunk may not, their pee may not bother you, but still boil it. And like I mean, that person's video of, I'm sorry, I forgot you, Ron Stryker, excuse me. He made a number of very good points, excellent points. So I'm going to provide a link to his video because I highly recommend that video. You know, and like I've said, you know, we're a long way from well-to-do, so we get what we can when we can. And another issue for us right now is our daughter in Texas isn't doing real well, and look, I have stuff in my Amazon shopping cart I would love to get next month, but if we have to, we're going to try and get her up here so she can go to the hospital up here where we think
she needs some help.
Yeah, she needs some help. Where you know, that, I mean, what I have in my Amazon gift cart, Amazon shopping cart,
Just have to wait.
Yeah, it's going to have to wait. The cost of that is the same as to get her up here. So, you know, I mean, we can only do what we can do. And I understand, you know, I had forgotten about the clothes. It's good to get some clothes, extra clothes, you're right. You know, put that in, you know, in like plastic bags. What I used to do when I backpacked was I would take a heavy-duty garbage bag, a large heavy-duty garbage bag, and put it in the main compartment of my backpack, and put everything in it. That kept things dry. And you know, I backpacked in Texas and in Canada. In Texas,
everything's dry.
Yeah.
You wanted her to do your own.
Yeah. So in Canada, on the other hand, I was really lucky when I went on the West Coast Trail because it did not rain the entire week we were there. Yet usually it rains every day, and you come out of that covered in mud. Well, thankfully it wasn't like that, especially if you would have known the trail we were on. You're right there at a 500-foot cliff. I mean, you're literally walking the cliff. And I don't like heights, so I wasn't comfortable all the time, but I enjoyed it. So that's an old life-saving trail for ships, for ships crews that were wrecked. But I also want to say something about training. Now, I've said in another video, I'm probably going to take a trip on the rail trail during the night, though. I'm doing it at night for a number of reasons, but that is actually not a good way to train, because if it does hit the fan, you don't want to be on trails. You want to stay away from trails, roads, streets, towns, houses, buildings, people. You want to stay away.
Thoroughfares, basically.
Yeah, because look, people are going to set up ambushes on trails because they know people are going to be on the trails. So there are going to be people like that idiot in Washington.
Yeah.
Tyler Smith, I think.
Dipshit.
Yeah, they're going to set ambushes up on places like trails and roads, so you stay away from them.
He's going to get his ass beat.
Yeah, he's not going to survive very long.
He'll probably take about 5, 10 minutes before he's dead.
Yeah. But the reason I'm going to do the rail trail is one, because right now the weather in our area, it's, you know, like I said, we had a foot and a half of snow last night.
Yeah.
And that doesn't include the snow we've had before that.
Just getting out the front door is a chore right now.
Yeah, and you have to also take into account that underneath that is ice, and in some places there's going to be ice but no snow. In some places snow but no ice, in some places snow and ice. Yes, it's true. There are a lot of places around here. All I have to do is take off into the woods, and that's that. I mean, I would never see another living soul for who knows how long. But this is just to get used to wearing the Alice gear, the pack. The bug out bag is the Alice pack, and
around here it's quite easy to slip and go bam.
Yeah, and I'm gonna wear these. And that's why I'm going on the trail, because now I did get the snowshoes out. I did want to say one thing about bugs, insects. Up here, come spring and summer, we may freeze. I mean, it may get below 0 up here during the winter. But come spring and summer,
they'll be back.
Oh yeah, and they come like you would not believe it.
Like
I mean,
armies.
So you do need insect repellent, and there are cold areas, believe it or not, that actually have biting insects during the winter. I think some places in Alaska may be like that. I'm not sure.
I think Alaska has a lot of mosquitoes.
So yeah. So the thing is, I mean, I don't want to sound redundant, but we just don't have the money to go out and get a lot of stuff.
We do it as we can.
Yeah, we do it as we can, but like Mr. Stryker, Ron Stryker, you buy stuff that's going to last. It's going to cost a little more. Sometimes it won't cost a little more. You just have to sit there and feel and look at the material.
You have to be careful when and where you buy it, how you buy it.
Yeah.
Too.
And
some people, it's just a mess.
Yeah. So you know, and the thing is, we have right now. I'm using the Alice pack, but my wife has a choice of 2 bags. It's whichever one she prefers. And the third one, if you will, that we wind up not using, we can always put extra stuff in there. Like if we take the car, if we leave with the car, we put extra stuff in that bag. That way it'd be easier to carry things. We could use it as a means of carrying things, like to a campsite, from the car to a campsite. This is just, you know, a convenient way of moving things. I also want to say some other things. I believe that it's good to have a comfort kit and an activities kit, which can be considered one and the same. A comfort kit.
A don't go crazy kit.
Yeah, it's like toothpaste, toothbrush, comb, hairbrush, a deck of cards, you know, some dice. These are things you can keep you busy.
And many of the things they sell online, is the commercially made prepared ones, have a deck of cards in them.
Yeah,
And
so,
a golf pencil and a pad of paper, you know.
yeah, and I would recommend a journal. Keep a journal, because that way you don't have all this stuff stuck in your head. You can put it down on paper. And take some body lotion, some skin lotion, especially up here in the winter time, because it'll dry out your skin. Take something like this for your lips. I mean, to me, this is a convenient size. That's why I have it. I prefer Burt's Bees. That comes in a container that's about as deep as a yellow top, but I can't find it except online right now. I think we saw some up in Lebanon.
Some of the pharmacies, like pharmacies, tend to have it too.
Yeah. So
just regular shops.
And yeah, I mean, we have some books. I mean, we have a lot of books, but we don't have a whole lot of books on, you know, the end of the world as we know it, or anything like that. But, you know, and eyeglasses, have an extra pair of eyeglasses. I mean, you don't have to go out and spend a lot of money. You buy them online. Buy your extra pair online. You know, not even $100 maybe.
They may not fit exactly right, perfect, but
it's better than not. Yeah. So. And some tools. I've seen a number of people, they have little tool kits, smaller sized tools. Like, I have a pair of vice grips down here somewhere, because when I was working on that Mosin. Finally, I'm glad I got that thing. I was about to go batty over it.
Start flying around the house squeaking and squawking.
We have an extra strap, but I generally find you need at least two. But I don't know where the vice grips are. Anyway, well, the vice grips that we have are full-size vice grips, but
I think we need to get a pair of those locking pliers that they have now that.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about.
Automatically.
Oh yeah. I also want to show you another tool. This.
So I have to hang on to them.
Let's see if I can remember how to use this.
Don't shoot me in the butt, or you'll get kicked.
You need to know how to use the stuff you have, people.
He does. He just has a little problem with it on now and then, don't you, honey?
Yeah. Oh, like that, maybe. And this, I'd get some good ball bearings, and at least two more of the rubber band things. Why this? This is silent. Let's say you're going to go get a bird, a squirrel, a chipmunk.
You don't want to alert the whole neighborhood for 3 miles.
Yeah, so
you shot something.
Yeah, so you have this, and
there's a yeah, that's one of those slingshots that goes on your arms, isn't it?
Yeah.
Arm, isn't it?
So now up here, yeah, you want extra layer. You want layer after layer after layer of clothing. Now, one nice thing about that is if an outer layer gets wet, hopefully the inner layers are not going to get wet or not as wet.
There's a couple of recipes for my Christmas cards.
Oh, okay, thank you. But what I was going to say is, like the vice grips, don't get like the full size, get like the half size. Yeah, and you can make a tool kit. I mean, a legitimate tool kit. And because you don't know, you may need it. Let's say you're going to go into a building, you're going to, and
you might need that larger one too.
Yeah, that's true. Let's say you're going to go into a building, say it all hits the fan, and you're going to go look through a building to see if there's things in there you can use. Maybe you don't want people to know that you've been there, so maybe you want to enter the building, breach.
Stealthily.
Yeah, stealthily. So that toolkit may come in handy. You may need to repair something. Who knows? I mean, yeah, we have full-size tools, but those would only go with us if we took the car. Another thing I recommend is communication. This. But we need to find a power cord for the base. Another thing you don't need, something you don't need is this. Okay?
I do recommend deodorant, unscented deodorant. But see, in one of the places I was in during my high school years, we had this great math teacher, Mrs. Rabinowitz. And then I was excited to go back to class because she was a great teacher. She didn't take anything off anybody, which is a sign of a good teacher, especially if you would have known us.
Okay.
Little
rat, huh?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of us were there as alternative to going to jail or juvenile hall. But anyway, they had this new lady. She had the Three Stooges haircut.
Oh, the bowl haircut?
Yeah, and she had the strangest looking makeup, the way she put the makeup on.
Oh, God.
And we didn't deal a whole lot with math. She just kept us busy, which was the whole purpose of those places. The warehouses.
Keep you out of trouble.
Huh? What?
Keep you out of trouble.
Yeah. Well, on the other hand, Mrs. Rabinowitz, she taught us math, and she, you know, that's probably why they didn't like her, because she actually expected us to learn something. I know the kids didn't like her because of that. I liked her because of it, though. I was in class to learn. Well, this new lady, not Mrs. Rabinowitz. Mrs. Rabinowitz wouldn't have done this.
There's a few more Christmas cards.
This new lady said, one day we were talking about needs. The math class is not a class you talk about needs, but
well,
she said a need is a hairdryer. Let me tell you, if you're out in the woods trying to survive, a hairdryer is going to be of absolutely no use to you unless you cut off the cord and you use the cord to tie something up with.
So where are you going to plug it in at?
Yeah, so I'm like, okay. But anyway, another thing that I think is really useful is a Leatherman tool. Of course, we can't afford a Leatherman, but
what?
Leatherman, I'll give you a link to one, because those are really versatile, and they basically do a lot. I mean, like I said, they're versatile. It's one tool that does many jobs instead of actually having to have this big toolkit. Another thing I recommend is one of these. Now, this is a cheap one. You know, this is a little saw, but you can use it to make a snare if you wanted to. You could use these to hook things up with, and so forth and so on. But it should be in the bag. I mean, it doesn't do you any good if you have to leave all of a sudden if everything's not all together. So that's one of our issues right now. Having stuff like this is good to have. And you notice my wife does this for me to my beard. You might think, well, it's not a necessity, but it's a very helpful thing, because when I zip my jacket up,
it keeps it out of the way.
Yeah, because otherwise I'd get beard hairs in the zipper, and you don't want that.
Yeah.
So this might be something you add these little like that, and you can. That's something you might want to put in your comfort kit. Another thing is to have some seasonings. Yeah, believe me, if we had to bug out, this is saffron. I would take it, because this might be useful as barter. Might. I know in Spain it sure would be. In India it would be. In some countries this would definitely be worth something. Salt and pepper, definitely. That's something that you could barter.
Coffee.
Coffee, yeah. Coffee is definitely something you could barter. Ammunition.
Well, that's one thing I printed off. Two of the things they advise against using as barter is ammunition and alcohol, because they can be turned against you.
Oh. Yeah, that's true. Ammunition could be used against you, and so could guns.
Alcohol one.
Yeah, and alcohol. So, flashlights. Also for your comfort kit, I do not recommend this. I recommend full size and unscented.
Get those like the stuff like the stone stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah, and soap. Have some soap, both like bar soap
and
liquid.
And get the unscented, because you don't want somebody to walk by you and smell you if you're trying to hide. So this video has gone on 40 minutes. So I'm going to end this video because I don't think anybody's going to watch a 40-minute video. I think this may be the longest video I've ever made. Another thing I would suggest, this is, I think it says size 4. This was our first holster.
Well,
and it works. Okay, this is a cheap holster from Walmart. This the 40 high point fits this, or this fits a 40 high point.
I was surprised it fit.
Yeah, it's a size 4, I believe. Maybe you can see it better than I can. And this is a starter holster. Now we have a better holster. Okay, but this is firm. This is solid. This works. Hey, you start with something like this. It's still not junk. It's cheap. It works. And then you upgrade. When you can upgrade, you upgrade. So, you know, keep things like that in mind. In communication, of course, you want to be very, very careful about communicating, because the government and some other people will have a means to intercept your communications. You may occasionally see a vehicle driving around with all sorts of antennas. Some of those vehicles are trying to find illegal radio stations, people who are operating hams without a license, which I don't have the stuff to even operate this yet, but you think I'm actually going to bother getting a license?
No.
CB radios, if you didn't hear my wife, she said no, I'm not going to bother. But we need stuff for both of these before we can even use them. But we can't get everything at once. We can't even get we can only get very little at
I don't even know
a
if you
time.
can find the parts for that ham radio anymore.
Oh yeah, we could find them.
Well, not easily.
So,
You're going to go to the store and buy them.
now there was a neighbor of my mom's back in Texas, and he was a ham, and it would have been nice if I could have gotten his equipment. But he's in a nursing home now. And he still has his mind and everything. It's just he was falling down.
Across the street from her.
Yeah.
The house looked like a.
Yeah, and all that stuff piled in the carport. Yeah. You know, I like Tex-Mex, you know, Mexican food. So there are certain spices that I would take with us. But I'm going to say again, Ron Stryker, I really like your idea of the rice. That is a fantastic idea. It may not be like you said, it may not be the most nutritional, but it'll definitely fill you up. You add the jerky to it, and that actually sounds pretty good. So, anyway, so that's all I have to say.
Quit changing the format of YouTube.
Oh, I know. Okay, bye-bye.